look.
What?
There's a ground cherry.
Oh, dang it.
These ground cherries are so incredible. And actually over here too, one of the most underrated but beautiful shade flowers there is. Look at this Perennia. I think this is called grapes, something grape. Oh, but it's so pretty. And it really likes to be well watered, and it likes to have a decent amount of shade. So it's one that you don't want to let dry out. It's just absolutely one of my favorite shade flowers. And yeah, just something you don't see quite as often in some arrangements, but I really like that. I've got girly girl out here with me, and we are picking tomatoes and ground cherries and trying to stay on top of the harvest as much as possible. I've been trying to get out and use the things from the garden, using all of my herbs, just throwing them in like corn and whatever I'm making. And even if I'm buying squash, and just trying to really embrace the summer harvest. And yeah, even buying squash since we don't have any yet. But I'm just waiting. I am waiting for the squash to germinate. So it's been about 3 or 4 days and still no germination yet on the squash, but we're keeping an eye on that for the second harvest. But I made one of the best recipes. So if you are having a better squash year than I am, last night I made one of my favorite squash recipes. Honestly, you can use this recipe for kind of anything. It's really good with asparagus, any kinds of roasted vegetables, really. You want me to fill up your spray bottle? If you have a little garden helper, a spray bottle with water is one of the best tricks, because it just keeps them busy out here in the garden, and she can't really do any damage with the spray bottle of water. But anyways, one of my favorite ways to eat squash is to slice them, you know, pretty thin, and then roast them with salt and pepper, vinegar, red wine vinegar, olive oil, some poppy seeds, some paprika. I will leave a link to the recipe I use. I don't have an official like recipe site, but I've been trying, well, I'm hoping to try to start recording things a little bit better on there so that you can see some of those recipes. But yeah, I'll link that there. It was so good and just such a yummy way to eat squash. So I'm also turning on the water out here today because I did transplant all of those black-eyed Susans, and this is not the best time of the year to be transplanting perennials, but is there really? But hopefully they're gonna survive. And basically what I'm doing is just watering them as much as possible. So I actually planted them 2 days ago because we were supposed to get rain all day yesterday, which we didn't end up getting, but that is a good, if you are doing any kind of perennial planting or transplanting, especially if you have like a rainy day or a rainy couple days, it's a perfect time to do that transplanting. So that was what I was hoping to do. It didn't quite work, but didn't work out. We didn't end up getting rain, but now I'm just trying to run the sprinklers because that'll hopefully wet down this area. So I'm just gonna run the sprinklers, and then I'm also gonna come over here and run the hose in this area and try to help them. They're looking okay. A couple of black-eyed Susans are looking a little dry, so I'm thinking they're pretty tough plants, so I just need to make sure they get a little bit more water today. And then I pulled over my container of phlox, and I haven't planted this yet, but I'm kind of playing around with how I like the look of the phlox there. So we'll see. But yeah, for transplanting this time of year, you know, my strategy is just water. Water, water, water. And usually our soil tends to hold a good amount of water because we have pretty like clay soil, so it tends to really hold the water pretty well. So we'll see how that does. You know, it's so hard with perennials in a small garden space. I ended up putting them, well, I put them last year and this spring in one of my raised beds, and I put them in there. I really love them. They're really beautiful earlier in the season, but now as I'm getting toward the fall garden and everything, you know, I'm wanting to have more space for some fall crops. I know next year I'm gonna want more space for just summer annuals and everything. And it's such a hard debate because I love the look of perennials and they're so beautiful. I mean, like there isn't really even an annual that adjusts like that looks like that, right? Like that's just so perfect and special, but it takes up space, and then it's the same thing year after year. And when you have a small garden, it's so tricky because I don't know, for me, I want to change things up. You'll see me out here, I'm constantly moving things and rearranging things and transplanting things, and it's basically because my garden's so small. And yeah, you know, when you start having perennials, you start just wanting to move them around a lot, which works to some extent, but that's a balance that I'm still trying to learn, and I'm still trying to figure out, and I'm trying to balance my love of perennials with my tiny space and wanting to have annuals and wanting to change things and wanting to move my garden around. If I ever have a bigger garden, who knows, maybe I will move things as much as I do. Maybe I won't. I don't know what it would look like if I had a bigger garden. Probably, honestly, I'm saying this now like, oh, it's because of a small garden, but it's also just like, this is kind of same thing like with my house. Like I love to redecorate and move things around. So maybe it's just me as a gardener that I'm just always moving things. But anyways, it is what it is. And I'm trying to find that balance, and just gonna try to baby these perennials with a mid-season transplanting. But all of gardening is kind of a balancing act. So I also want to come in here and stake up all of these, and I should have staked them right when I planted them, but oh, the hummingbird. Look at it. It's so close. Did you see that hummingbird? Yeah. There was a hummingbird right on the blue flowers. It's like within 2-3 feet of me. Oh, that's super cool. I need to spray it. Oh, I don't think we want to spray the hummingbird. We want it to come, we want it to like the garden. You can spray those flowers though. Keep them happy. We have so many hummingbirds right now. It's super, super nice. So what I am gonna do is come in here, and I probably should have just done it when I was transplanting them, but I just didn't, because I just came out here in the evening and like moved them. I was kind of in a rush. But I'm just gonna come in now and try to stake them up, and that will hopefully help keep them upright, make them look a little bit better, because obviously they were growing in one place and now I moved them to another, and their shape is the wild shape that they were in the raised bed, and it doesn't look perfect for this space. So I'm gonna come in now, and I'm just gonna use bamboo stakes and twine and just put them upright a little bit so they look in a little bit better shape, and then we'll see how that looks, and maybe it'll look slightly better. See if I can get back in here.
See over here.
Yeah, you spray the banana.
Okay.
Spray the banana tree.
Okay. There.
Thanks.
But the water will grow big enough and get the spiders away.
That's right.
Yeah.
Grow big enough to get the spiders away. It's a good plan.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, the fish I think are sleeping.
There's a fish, Mama.
You see one?
Yeah. And I had to spray them.
What about the tomatoes? Do the tomatoes need some water?
I just finished my spray. Now I need to help the run the plant away.
Alright, let's move this. We have this crazy, the cucamelons are absolutely crazy. They've grown all over. They were pulling all over the elderberry that I moved out of this way. So I'm actually gonna tie them to the fence, I think. And we'll see. I don't even know how to organize them better, but I'm gonna
organize the plants, okay, Mama?
I'm just gonna, just a minute. I'm just gonna like tie them up here to the fence, and then I think they'll probably just take off and start growing.
Okay.
And cover this with green. You think so, girly girl?
Yes.
Okay. Good deal. All right, now I'm just gonna try to really soak this area. I realize that I don't have any sprinklers back here set up yet for these. It looks a little bit better though with everything upright. This is, I think this is one of those like mellow yellow echinaceas. Thank you. One like the mellow yellow echinaceas, and that one actually transplanted well. I think I was able to get a bit more root system. It's probably wetter over here too, next to the raised bed. But I'm just gonna really soak this. And thanks. Do you want to hold the hose? See if I can. You gotta water these plants in. Some of them I did not get a very good root system on, which I probably should have taken a little bit more care when I was transplanting them. Of course, the more roots you get, you know, the better they do and all of that, and the more soil you can transplant. I just, as I said, I did this like on a whim, kind of quick, and now I've got to take care of them, but I think they look better. I think that staking them up will help things, and there's a lot of good mulch in here, and we'll just really water. And then we've been getting some big storms in the weekend, so it'll be nice if we get some rain, but I can stay on top of watering them. I might even hit them with a little bit of fertilizer. You know, they are perennials, so I usually don't worry about my perennials, especially this kind of perennials, like a black-eyed Susan like this. I don't usually even mess with fertilizing, but since, you know, you see a pepper. Oh, okay, don't pick that one, it's not quite ready yet. And that one's spicy. Yeah, I know those jalapeno peppers are getting really big. All right, so we're just gonna water these in. That's what I'm doing. And let's hope, fingers crossed, that all these perennials just take off.
Look, Mama, I found an eggplant.
You did! Good job! Okay, so the next perennials I'm gonna kind of take a look at are my container clematis. So there is a cucamelon vine getting in my way. So the container clematis, there were 2 of them that I had that I was gonna grow in the arch trellis, and they were beautiful this spring. Oh my gosh, they were so gorgeous. They were just absolutely stunning. One of them like almost completely died back. I don't really know what happened, and I moved it over toward the house, and it's looking really good. I have it over here in like house, in like plant hospital, basically over here by the house, and it's totally recovered. It's flushed back over the last month or so, and it's actually putting on buds now. So I think I'm gonna get another big bloom off of it, and it looks really, I mean, that just looks so happy and healthy and gorgeous. It died back to nothing, to like this, and I just cut it off and brought it over here, and I fertilized it just a little bit, but just kept it well watered, giving it lots of nice sun, and it's doing really well. And I'm really happy because it's such a stunning plant, and I really love it. So I do need to figure out another higher like next system of trellis for it, but I'm also going to run over and see. So my other clematis is over here. I left it on the trellis, and it was doing well for a while. It actually put on some midsummer like flowers, but then now I noticed it's just not looking good at all. So I think I'm going to do what I did with the last one. I think I'm going to cut it off as much as I can. If I can save any of the green foliage, I will, but I'm gonna move it over up toward the house too, where it's gonna get more sun. So I'm just gonna cut it off here. I think that it's probably not getting quite enough sun, because the tomatoes on the arch trellis have gotten just huge. They are so thick. You can see the tomatoes have gotten so thick that there's kind of no way that the sun can really get to the clematis here. But there's some growth. You can see it's pushing new growth down here. So I think just like the just like the other one, there's probably a shot for me. This is the lettuce that I was gonna let flower and save the seeds from. So I need to grab that too. But yeah, here's a branch that looks pretty good. So you know what, we'll take that, we'll take this whole thing, and I'm just gonna bring it up to the house. I don't even know if I can get out any of these dead vines without kind of hurting the tomatoes. I guess I can get a little bit of it out. The tomatoes have gotten crazy, and they're like even pulling the trellis over a little bit, but they've been super fun, and we've gotten a pretty decent harvest. Like every day we come out here. That one something got into, but every day we come out here and get tomatoes, so that's been really nice. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see how this clematis does. I'm just gonna pull out these vines and let the other plant live over by the house. Sometimes you move perennials and you kind of put them through a little bit of a hard time, and it's stressful for them, and sometimes I think you kind of end up saving them, which hopefully will happen with the clematis. So I'm gonna put this clematis right here next to its friend, and hopefully it will recover. I'll probably come back in and trim out all the dead growth.
This is a friend.
Yeah, these two are friends, and this one is about to bloom. It's gonna be so pretty. So that is what is going on with all of the perennials here in the garden. Some good things, and I think the clematis is gonna be happier, and I think that all the other ones are gonna do okay too. So anyways, thank you so much for spending a little time out here, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.